I do have to confess, doesn't sit right with me. Not everything is about Taylor Swift. What is that? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Ali and today I'm gonna try to not get cancelled. What a month it has been. I do still feel a little bit hurt that Taylor didn't quite promote Speak Now as much as she did for Fearless and Red, but fear not, clearly I decided to shoulder that burden myself, and what fun that has been. Thank you all so much for the love this past month, this past year. Honestly, it feels like the warmest hug every time I upload and get to read your comments, so I love you so much. I hope you are having a great day wherever you are in the world. And I also want to say shout out to future Ali, who's editing this right now on the plane, because she's a little bit nervous about flying, and I just thought that if I had something to edit and look forward to, it would be a little bit less scary. So hi future me, I hope you're doing well. You go girl, this is for you. If you'd like to see where I'm going and follow along with my adventures, my Instagram will be linked below. You can follow me there, but I am just so happy, so excited to be going. In case you're new here, hi, I'm Ali. It is so nice to have you here. I have done a few videos in this series before and we just have so much fun. I love hearing your very controversial, unpopular opinions and then also sharing my own. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. If you are new, please feel free to subscribe. It's totally free. It's fun. I would love to have you. And without further ado, let us discuss our most unpopular, controversial Taylor Swift opinions. So first I will be reacting and responding to your unpopular opinions, and then the second part will be me sharing my own. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm sure you'll see the red anxiety rash appear at some point in this video. So I put this up on my Instagram story for you guys to respond to, and to say that I got quite a few responses would be an understatement. I apologize that I will not be able to get to even half of these. I've just picked a few at random, essentially. Look at that, they just keep going. So thank you all for being so passionate. We really have a problem, don't we? Oh, we're still going. Thank you guys. There are some very juicy ones in here today, so I am very excited. I feel like this is a great place to start. People are putting too much emphasis on the surprise songs. The show is amazing. I personally could not agree more, and I say that as someone that has not yet attended the Eras tour but has attended every previous tour. The surprise songs are simply that, a surprise, a random new element in the show that Taylor does just for us to make the show even more spectacular and special, and she very much does not need to do that. I know people are joking around with like, oh my god, we lost this song, it's not fair, like I hate her, she's cancelled for playing this song when I'm not there, but like she could just not have any surprise songs ever and that would still be an amazing, insane concert. This is something that she adds just for us to make it like even more exciting. And the responses we see about these surprise songs is something that is very new to me, at least as a fan. When something exciting would happen in previous tours, even with the Reputation Stadium tour where she would have a surprise song, I don't remember ever seeing this kind of jealousy response. In the past, whenever Taylor would do something special or exciting at her shows, the only response that I ever really remember seeing and feeling was like excitement. When Taylor was bringing out special guests on the 1989 tour, that was only exciting and a good thing to see. It wasn't ever a feeling of, oh, I can't believe she did that for that show and not me, I missed out. And even on earlier tours, if something different would happen one night and you'd read about it on Tumblr or online or just hear about it, it would just be met with excitement. So I don't really understand this competitive level that we seem to have found ourselves at. And I will say, I think that ties in with the whole Long Live debacle. We are going to talk about that. I see a lot of, I guess, East Coast Swifties quite upset and even angry and like very unkind about the fact that Taylor has now added Long Live to the set list since now owning Speak Now Taylor's version, which again, I just don't really understand. And maybe I'm in a privileged position because I haven't seen her yet, but again, the set list can always change. I just think artists have every right to do that. Like Harry will play Medicine at some shows and not at others. He played Daydreaming for us and Daylight for other people. It's just a way of keeping the show fresh for themselves and the audience, but also we kind of already knew that Taylor would add a Speak Now song once she owned the album. We've speculated about this for a long time. This is a good thing. And so hearing people be like, I want a refund, like this is so unfair, I don't know, it comes across as ungrateful to me and I don't relate. I don't understand it. To be honest, I think the main issue in all of this comes down to TikTok, as so many problems do, but the fact that we all essentially know the set list inside and out, we watch it every weekend, like it's not really how concerts are meant to be experienced. Back in the day, we would typically go into a concert not knowing the set list, not knowing what was to come. It is a well-oiled machine and it needs to be for all of the dancers, the crew, the performers, like the stage hands, everything needs to be perfected and just repeated every single night. The fact that Taylor can add a song or change out the acoustic songs is just like amazing and unnecessary. She doesn't need to do that. And so I think that complaining about those things doesn't really make sense to me. It's the same with like some shows that had Phoebe Bridgers as the opener. Got nothing new, just as we will see with Haim and I'm sure Hayley Williams. Am I jealous that I'm not getting to see Hayley Williams live? Yes, but like, it's okay. I think we can definitely have a lot of fun with the surprise songs and laugh about it and say, you know, which date had our favorite songs or which date would you have loved to have been at. But to say that like you lost because you got bad songs when Taylor is literally up there performing for 3.5 hours for you just doesn't sit right with me. Sorry for that little rant. I just had to get that off my chest. The surprise songs are not something that she has to do. The set is already so long. She's already performing so much, and that is just something additional that she does for us to make each show exciting. That is not Taylor spoiling the experience. That is people spoiling it for themselves. It's not her fault, not her problem. I've decided to sprinkle in a few little additional opinions throughout my travels. So here's the first one. Today's controversial opinion is that for me, Evermore, the song, was a bit of a skip. It was kind of just like a forgettable song to me, surrounded by brilliance and other songs that I just loved more dearly and paid more attention to. However, when she played that live recently, my jaw dropped. You guys know how I feel about the live from Paris versions of Cornelia Street and Death by a Thousand Cuts. This is now in that realm, maybe even better, because it has just so far surpassed what the original song was to me. Her singing! So I do have to apologize for originally sleeping on Evermore, the song, but that live version, man, I would bet almost my entire life savings that we will be getting a live recording of every single surprise song that she does. In my mind, it's the reason that if she makes a mistake, she does it again, because she's recording these. So that is one that I absolutely cannot wait to listen to on repeat forever. This is a very important one to talk about. I don't care about the Better Than Revenge lyric change. Interesting. I kind of would agree. I don't know if I don't care. I care in the sense that I find it very interesting and I love to talk about it and think about it and like wonder when she decided to change it, what other options she may have had in mind, like who she talked to about this. I know a lot of people have said that, you know, they'll be listening to the old version, they hate this, they can't understand why she would do it. It doesn't really need to make sense to me as why she would do it, because I would have been fine if she kept the lyric the same. Again, like I've said this a bunch of times on this channel, but I think you are allowed to express yourself as a teenager, and sometimes that involves slut shaming. Sometimes we have opinions that aren't always correct, and it's the same principle with Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats, and the same reason that I will still belt out some fruity little drink because she can't shoot a whiskey every time. It's putting down that woman for no reason and being like, well, I'm a cool girl, I can drink whiskey with the boys. It's unnecessary, it's pick me, but who cares? It's a great song. I still feel like that about Better Than Revenge, the original lyrics. However, I think the arguments surrounding this lyric change are missing the main point, which is that it is Taylor's version. It is not up to us. We don't even have to really like it, because at the end of the day, she's the one that has to put her name and her face to this. And so if that is what she feels most comfortable with, it's her choice. Will I probably still sing the original lyrics when I see it live in concert? Yeah, I think I will. It's already such a weird adjustment. I've been singing like, he was a moth to the flame, she was holding the mattress. It's gonna take some time to get used to. Oh, okay. Babe TV is so much better than the original. Now, this is a controversial one. If you remember my debacle with Babe. 2 years ago when I made my ranking every single Taylor Swift song video, I manifested, called out, prayed for, predicted. I just hoped that we would someday get Babe TV. I didn't ever really expect that it would happen. I think that was absolutely just a pipe dream in my mind, but then it happened. And as much as I am grateful for that, and will always be grateful for that, I do have to confess, I do listen to the original version more. I absolutely love Taylor's version. I think what she did with it is so creative. It sounds great. It is so fun. The only thing missing for me is that it sounds a little bit not angry enough, and that is like kind of essential to the plot of Babe for me. So when I'm really wanting to get in those feels and like experience that anger, I have to go to the OG. Both are amazing, they just serve their different purposes. All right, coming at you live from Philly. This is not really an unpopular opinion of sorts, but it is an opinion, I guess. And that is that I wish I hadn't seen the leaked photos of the I Can See You music video, because I cannot imagine what it must have been like to witness in real time without any warning Taylor Lautner himself dropping from the ceiling and popping up totally unannounced. Like what? What? It is truly one of the most chaotic things she's ever done. And I mean that in a good way. And for those of you that didn't see the spoilers, I'm sure there are probably not many, but for any of you that had no idea who was going to be in that, what was your reaction like? what was that like to experience in real time? Because I cannot imagine. I hope she changes the set list for the international tour, like significantly, lol. Interesting. So like I said earlier, I think a set list, especially for a production like this, which is literally, you could watch Toy Story 1 and 2 whilst Taylor is on stage and be finished before she gets off. Like, this is a long production. And so like I said, it has to be a pretty tightly run ship. Oh, now I'm thinking of the captain from The Sound of Music. So I don't think there's that much wriggle room for changing the set entirely. I think we see obviously the acoustic section is where she has the room to do that because it's just her and an instrument. You don't need like the lighting on all the different techs and the dancers and backup singers to be learning all this choreography. I don't think that's possible, and I wouldn't expect that of her. God bless this person. They somehow didn't realize that this video was going to be about Taylor Swift specifically, and their submission is dry fruits in food doesn't taste good. I actually have to very much disagree. My favorite part of a muesli is the good little bits of dry fruit. I do not want her to cut her hair for 1989 Taylor's version. I find this quite interesting because I think I do. I mean, her hair right now is stunning, but you know, I'm ready for change. And as someone that loves change but is too afraid to cut their own hair, the way that I can best access that is by her cutting her own. Also, it just meant so much at the time. Like, I remember back then she wrote something like, from the girl who said she would never cut her hair or move to New York or find happiness in a world where she's not in love. Love, Taylor. I'm proud of that girl, and if she does it again, I'll be proud of her too. What can I say? I love a little bit of coconut head in my life. It's unfair for her to play songs like Long Live and Nothing New because people miss it. I just disagree. Like, it's a live experience. You know, things will be different. The Nashville show that got Speak Now Taylor's version announced, or where Joey King and Taylor Lautner came out on stage. You know, we can't look at each night and be like, this has to be exactly the same as my show last weekend, otherwise it's unfair. Yeah, I just don't agree. We all bought our tickets not expecting to hear Long Live, so it's not really unfair that we didn't get to hear it. I think it's just more exciting when she does play it. Fearless Vault is the best one so far. I would have to disagree. In my previous video, I asked you guys if you wanted me to do a ranking of all the vault tracks, because obviously my ranking every Taylor song video is now incomplete. We have 3 new vaults to add. I think the general consensus was yes, but wait until we have the remaining 3 so I can do all 6 at once. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I will just say, I don't want to give anything away too soon, but if we're gonna wait like years for that video, I feel like I can say something. I personally think the Red Vault is the strongest. It has like the meatiest songs, but it does have a skip. The Fearless Vault also has a skip. The Speak Now Vault has no skips. So that is all I'll say for now. But in the comments, feel free to give me a ranking of those 3 vaults. I am very curious to hear what people think. I don't understand how a Swiftie can say they hate one of her songs. I actually disagree with that. I think you can be a big fan of someone, they can be your #1 artist, and you can dislike a song. In the same way you can have a partner or a best friend who is your favorite person in the world and you would support them unconditionally, but they can do something that you maybe don't agree with. Or you can have different beliefs with them. I just think that's what makes us human. We all have different tastes. For example, take myself, I'm a big country music fan, so her first 3 albums being quite country. It would make sense if I then didn't like a song on an album like Reputation or Folklore, which are quite different in genre. Or the people that we see that became fans during Folklore, a lot of the time are not gonna love the songs on Debut. You know, I think that is totally fine, and I don't think it makes you less of a fan or less of a person to dislike certain things. I think that's something that people get opinionated about online, and it's like, oh, you're a fake fan if you don't like X song, or you know, I personally don't ever listen to Soon You'll Get Better or Marjorie, and I don't think that makes me any less of a fan. Honestly, I feel like everyone is allowed to have songs that they hate. You are valid. I still love you, and if you would like to tell me what that song is in the comments, go for it. You guys know from my ranking, I had to be honest. There are songs that I don't love, so I think it's fine. She should have done Dear John 10-minute version. I, again, disagree. I see that opinion a lot. It's kind of a joke and I get it, but people that actually want a 10-minute Dear John, I think maybe don't understand the conception of the All Too Well 10-minute version, All 10 Well, as I say. The only reason we have that is because it was originally that length. It was originally like 25 minutes, and we as fans caught wind of this back in the day and essentially peer pressured Taylor to re-release it. It's not something that I ever expected that we would actually get, which is what gives me a bit of hope for the other things that I secretly pray for from her. But yeah, it's just something that existed in that form already, and so therefore she was like, okay, well you guys really want this, and I see what you did with the song All Too Well in the first place. So she kind of gave it to us as like a gift for supporting the re-records, I guess. But to release a 10-minute version of Dear John would just be disingenuous, and I don't ever want her to do that. So I'm pretty happy with what we've got. This one hit home. Mine Glee version is better than mine Taylor's version. You guys know, Mine by Taylor Swift is one of my all-time favorite songs. It will always be one of my all-time favorite songs. But Naya's version?
I say, can you believe it? As we're lying on the couch.
I think I've talked about this so many times on my channel at this point, so you're probably not even surprised by now, but oh my god, it hits so different. Who would have thought that you could take one of the most beautiful love songs of all time and make it the most gut-wrenching breakup song?
She is the best thing that's ever been mine.
I mean, I just think Naya has one of the world's most incredible voices. It is even harder now to like watch her sing that and to listen to it since she's passed away. Just thinking about what that meant at the time, like Santana and Britney were one of, if not the first lesbian couple shown on like mainstream TV. So everything to do with that relationship is just extra important, I guess. But while we're sharing unpopular Glee related opinions, Landslide is one of my all-time favorite songs. I love the Chicks version. I love Fleetwood Mac's version. Something about the Glee version hits so hard. I feel like that's something that I would get bullied for saying in real life. So I hope this is a safe space.
Well, I've been afraid of changing.
Gwyneth Paltrow just, she gets it, she gets it. What are your thoughts on Vampire being about Taylor Swift? So I got actually quite a few comments regarding that on my Vampire reaction, and I think it's always valid for people to interpret a song through their own lens and like shaped by their own experiences. But with a song like this, I don't know, to me it felt a little bit invalidating of Olivia's experience. Like she quite specifically talks about a guy who was a bit older and like mistreated her. And I say this as a lifelong fan, not everything is about Taylor Swift. We love and appreciate Dear John and Would've, Could've, Should've, and I think it's important to show that same respect to Vampire. If it's a song that you like and want to listen to, yeah, I just don't want to diminish someone's experience to, I don't know, something that it's not. Oh, that's interesting. I wish the re-recordings were more spaced out. It's funny that you say that because they've already been so much more spaced out than I was ever anticipating. I remember back when Taylor first announced that Fearless was coming and I was like, oh my god, I hope she gives us a little bit of breathing time between each one. Like I hope we get like a month or something between each re-recording. How wrong I was. I definitely don't think I need more time because if anything, the fact that she's spacing them out as much as she has, which is like what, 3 in 3 years? 4 years? Well, watch this space, maybe I'll be wrong. At the end of the day, it just proves that none of this was about money for Taylor because she could have re-recorded them all in the space of a month and dropped them overnight and been like, okay, just go listen to mine, don't listen to the other ones. So the fact that she's giving them the proper care that they deserve and this proper rollout as like an actual era, I really, really enjoy. I say actual era, even though she barely acknowledged Speak Now, but it's okay, it's fine. I do just get a little bit of FOMO thinking about like the Fearless photo shoots and the Red photo shoots and all the behind the scenes content on TikTok and Instagram. So, you know, I had to take matters into my own hands and have a little photo shoot myself, which was so much fun. I highly recommend getting a ridiculous gown shaped like a pastry and frolicking around and having fun. You can see that full photo shoot on my Instagram, and also the girl that made my dress is tagged. If you would like to go and check her out, she is just amazing and could absolutely make you the sickest outfit for the Eras tour, so I will leave her below as well. But yeah, as for the timing, I, if anything, probably wish they were closer together because I'm greedy, but I think I just don't want her to space it out more because I want her to be able to be like done with that process sooner rather than it taking an extra like 4 or 5 more years. I know Superman is a huge red flag, but it goes the fuck off. Still, nobody seems to like it. Well, not nobody, because you guys saw my reaction to Speak Now Taylor's version. I am a Superman apologist, a Superman stan. I think the people that don't like it just don't get it, and it's okay because we do. Okay, I don't know if this is unpopular, but I am okay having lost Love Fest because it means we got Folklore and Evermore and ultimately the Eras tour. And I don't think any of these 3 things plus probably so much more would have happened had Loverfest and everything that was planned pre-pandemic gone ahead. I also think that it's okay for singers and songwriters in happy, healthy current relationships to write about previous ones. I don't know if that's like really mean and inconsiderate of me to say. Maybe I would feel differently if I was like the partner of that person, but I just think all of life is about experiences. So whether you are a painter, a film producer, or a songwriter, I think we can source inspiration from multiple places. And that doesn't necessarily mean you still have feelings for that person. It just means you are able to access how you felt at that time. Debut is not her worst album. That is correct, actually. It is not my lowest ranked album, and I don't mind when it is someone's lowest ranked album because just statistically or scientifically, I mean, with time, we typically get better at what we do. So the fact that, you know, her singing absolutely improved and her songwriting got better and the production got better. So for someone to rank it last, I wouldn't be surprised or offended. I think it's mostly people that don't like country that rank it last, which I guess is fine, but also it's not. But yeah, it's not my least favorite album either. I love Debut and I always will. One day it would be very fun to do a full reveal of my album ranking. I don't know if I'm ready for that emotionally right now, but if you would like to have a guess in the comments, if you get it right, I will tell you. MetLife Night 1 won with Getaway Car and Maroon. This is the fun kind of conversation that I like to have regarding the surprise songs. To me, this doesn't feel out of jealousy. This just feels, you know, excitement and ranking things, and I'm a slut for ranking anything. It's definitely top 3, but if I think about it, I think there's 2 above that for me. In second place, I have Arlington, which got Death by a Thousand Cuts and Clean, and I'm pretty sure she sang Death by a Thousand Cuts like 3 times. To hear that and Clean together, I mean, immaculate. The power that has, if you didn't know, Taylor wrote Clean when she moved to New York, and then the film Something Great was inspired by the song Clean. Taylor, not knowing that, watched the movie and then wrote Death by a Thousand Cuts inspired by the movie, which to me is just like a miracle. I love when women, and so pairing those songs together, oh, her mind, her mind. However, in first place, if you know me, you can probably guess it. Would've, could've, should've, and Mine. That is an unbeatable combination. And I really like to think about this in terms of like fantasy football. So like, you know, this one song on its own is strong, but maybe these 2 songs together outweigh it. To me, Would've, Could've, Should've, and Mine is just pretty much untoppable. But you're right, Maroon and Getaway Car, that's absolutely a god tier pairing. Congratulations to everyone at MetLife. You did win in some way. All these new fans have just jumped on the bandwagon or were keeping it a secret before. I disagree with that. I wouldn't call becoming a new fan jumping on the bandwagon. I guess that is kind of the terminology. I don't know, it's like people discover an artist or discover that they like them, and that's typically how music works. Like, I'm trying to think of people that I discovered later in their career. So if we compare Sabrina Carpenter and Olivia Rodrigo, because I'm sure no one has ever compared them before. So Sabrina, I have loved since like day one, since she was a tiny little Disney girl singing with like a ukulele, and I've really enjoyed following her career. I didn't know anything about Olivia Rodrigo until I think like High School Musical, the series. So technically I'm jumping on her bandwagon, I guess, because I didn't watch all the shows she was on, didn't hear her original YouTube covers, like, but it's just discovering someone at a different point in time, which I think personally is fine. I know it can be frustrated, especially around ticket sale time, when it's like, I've loved this person for 20 years and this person in front of me who doesn't even know a single song just beat me out for a ticket. Like, I really do get that frustration, but I don't think we can gatekeep her anymore. I think our tiny little country singer is starting to get a little bit known, unfortunately. It is so weird to think about the fact that like the 1989 era felt like her peak to me and probably to her. And then again, in the Miss Americana documentary, we saw her uncertainty about, you know, how much longer this would last. We heard her uncertainty in Nothing New. Again, last year with Midnights, she topped records I didn't think she could ever top and break, and in a whole different stratosphere. And now I think she is even more, what's the word? Famous doesn't even feel right. She's just everywhere. Now she's again like the biggest she's ever been, just like constantly outdoing herself. You know, some part of me will always miss the tiny little bar shows that I could see her at for $30 and be front row with a couple of hundred other people, because that's an amazing experience. But if that was all that she was able to do, I wouldn't get everything else, if that makes sense. So like every other part about being a fan and supporting her makes it all worthwhile. What do you think about Unreleased Karma album? I'm so glad you asked. I actually have an entire video about that, which will be so funny to watch back now because it was all made before we ever heard Karma as a song or got the music video or anything like that. So I will link that down below and I will watch that later and see just how wrong I was. But I think a lot of what I said still stands. It's me with my tinfoil hat on, just kind of having a little conspiracy theory moment to myself, and I enjoy doing that. Her little giggle when she announced Karma as a song.
Track 11 is called Karma.
We did deserve that. It is funny when she laughs at us, but I will always wonder, what was the reason for the upside down phone, Taylor? What was the reason? If someone ever meets her, please ask her, because I think she was just playing with us. I need to hear it from her. Okay, I think it is time for me to share my own personal, controversial, unpopular opinions. It's time. This first one, I haven't seen anyone else say this, and it feels like something that, again, I would get tomatoes thrown at me in the street for saying out loud, but I would make the Eras Tour set list shorter. And I say this as someone that loves Taylor Swift, has literally gone to every show since Taylor was a teenager. I say that as someone who loves her, but also someone who has chronic pain. And I think honestly, it's also just getting older. Like if I was still 16, I could probably do this all day. But sadly, I now cannot. So just personally, I would maybe reduce the set list to about 3 hours. However, I do still need to include some debut songs because to me, the fact that she's having the Eras tour and not including one of the Eras and it being the main one that like launched her career, doesn't sit right with me. So that will be corrected. So the songs that we will need to lose in order to put some debut in there, it's gonna be The Archer. I'm sorry. It had to be Lover or The Archer. They're both slow Lover era ballads. And if you want to keep Lover, we have to get rid of The Archer. I'm sorry. I was gonna get rid of The Man, but I feel like she's just having too much fun up there. And you know, if you've been there, if you were in the audience, is it fun? I feel like it must be fun. We can keep that. I really want to take out Love Story because I've seen it 13,000 times, but for the new fans that have never seen it, I will keep it. No, you know what? No, for the proposals, I will keep it. It's very sweet. I love seeing those. Fearless should not be shortened. Fearless needs to be the full song. And I also want to add like Tell Me Why or Hey Stephen into the Fearless set. Therefore, I'm gonna need to cut Tis the Damn Season. I'm so sorry. Everything else from Evermore can stay. We will maybe shorten. No, I can't shorten Tolerate It. No, we'll just take something from Reputation. I think we're gonna take Look What You Made Me Do, but I do need to add in Getaway Car. I would take out Delicate if not for 1, 2, 3, Let's Go Bitch. So do I take Don't Blame Me or Ready For It? You guys can decide that one in the comments. Enchanted, I could lose if I had to, only to replace it with like Sparks Fly and The Story of Us. So I say that as someone that loves that song. It used to be one of my all-time favorite songs, but I do think TikTok kind of overplayed it for me a little bit. And also I've just seen it live a lot before. Long live, obviously staying, do not touch a hair on her head. I think we can all agree the red set is a little bit wackadoodle. Like what? Why is it just the big radio singles? The only really good thing about 22 is the hat. It is so wholesome and heartwarming seeing a tiny little kid get the hat and meet Taylor. But we can probably put that in another song. That can work. That can be interchanged. All the big single tracks are gone. Goodbye, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. Goodbye, I Knew You Were Trouble, and Goodbye 22. We're replacing those with State of Grace, Holy Ground, and Treacherous. You're welcome. I also would love to hear I Bet You Think About Me. We can make that happen. I think this is obvious when I say the biggest change is that we're losing Bad Blood. I'm sorry. Bad Blood has no place being on this set list. She's out of here. And we're replacing her with Getaway Car, as we should. The fact that it's also just like the chorus on repeat, essentially, like it's unnecessary. So bye-bye. I'll keep Blank Space just for you, Sydney, but I will get rid of Shake It Off. I now have the space to add our song, Tim McGraw, and I want maybe something else from Fearless, The Other Side of the Door. All in all though, the Eras to a set list is so much better than I ever could have conjured up myself. It is beyond my wildest dreams. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve her. So at the end of the day, I couldn't change a thing. But if you see me sitting down for a song or two, please go easy on me. This is one of the reasons I will probably be wearing comfortable footwear because my body isn't built the same way. It is not built like it once was. And if I have to take some painkillers and wear some orthopedic shoes, damn it, that is what I will do. Maybe that's another unpopular opinion. Don't shame people for sitting down at any point during the concert. You never know what kind of invisible illness or disability someone has. Let's all just be conscious of that. There's this sort of quote or message that I don't remember where I heard it, but it has really just resonated a lot with me recently. And that is that we don't need understanding to give compassion. So we don't need to first understand someone's problem or dilemma to be able to provide empathy. We can just do that. So, you know, even if you don't understand what someone's going through, you can still show compassion for them. And I think we should extend that to all the people that we meet at the Eras tour. Okay, this is quite a subject change from that. The Fearless Taylor's version cover. Is it iconic? Yes. Is it better than this monstrosity? Yes. However, there's two things I would change. Firstly, the loss of the tight ringlet curls. That was a sad, sad day. I would bring those back if we could. Secondly, the sepia tone. To me, it just doesn't really fit the era. It's got this weird kind of like bronzy feel and it just doesn't kind of suit the era in my mind. I think the fact that it's like all one color, all sort of washed with that one color, it blends into itself a bit too much rather than maybe like the golden hour feel they were going for. So it's probably my third favorite of the Taylor's version photo shoots. Speak Now being first, Red being second, Fearless third. I'm so curious to see the next three. I think I'm most nervous for for debut. No, I trust her with Reputation. I know it's some big shoes to fill because that cover is just iconic. I'm actually more worried about the back cover of Reputation because that is the most beautiful and creative thing I've ever seen. So I just hope she can do that one justice. Okay, this is one that I feel like is definitely unpopular, and that is that Cardigan is a lower ranked song for me. I don't mean I dislike it at all. You guys have seen my ranking. Like, I do love the song. To me, it's just not like all too well worthy as I see it is for other people. There are just so many songs on Folklore that I love with my entire being that it ends up being in the second half of my rankings. Like My Tears Ricochet, The Last Great American Dynasty. I can't go past songs like that. Like I said, I do love it. It's just not number one for me. And finally, this is more of a concern than an opinion. Also maybe a little bit of a prediction, and a sad one at that. I fear that we may not get I'd Lie Taylor's version because of Girl Next Door by Saving Jane. I don't really remember the actual legal goings on of what happened, but essentially I'd Lie sounds a lot like this song Girl Next Door by Saving Jane. It's actually kind of funny. If you listen to the song, it is like if You Belong With Me and I'd Lie had a child. And unfortunately, that song came out in 2005, so before both Debut and Fearless, obviously. So if they wanted to have some sort of case against Taylor, which we know people love to do, they might have one. I don't really know. And they may actually not have a case at all, but I just worry that the whole Shake It Off debacle could have like scared her away from ever releasing it, just for like not wanting to have to go through that again. And I wouldn't blame her, but also it is one of my all-time favorite songs and I need her to release it. So if anyone has a connection to Saving Jane, if anyone knows them, if anyone's friends with them, send them this video. Hi guys, please, please, thank you. It's really just the chorus, but I just worry. I worry for my sanity and my emotions the day that we get the debut track list. If it does not have I'd Lie, Permanent Marker, it probably won't have Diary of Me. I'm not going to expect that, but Crazier. And if she wants to move Battle or Drama Queen from the Speak Now era, totally fine with that too. Shall we scroll through and answer a couple of more rogue ones? I think we should. I Know Places is one of her best songs. Look, if you've seen my ranking, you know I personally disagree, but you're allowed to think that. Timeless is a mistake. I've chosen to pretend it doesn't exist. All cringy, cheesy cliches. Interesting. Personally, I love the song. I can see the line about being in the 1500s did catch me a little bit off guard, but overall, I love the song. I love a bit of cheesiness, so that's fair enough. Like if Cleopatra grew up in a small town, that is so Taylor Swift. I love it. The Eras Tour prices are really okay for an artist as big as her. I got a few submissions just like this, and I personally agree. I've definitely paid double to see like a Broadway show. The fact that she is the most in-demand artist in the entire world and is performing for 3.5 hours. I get it.
Like, I respect it.
Inflation is also just like so shit right now. So to compare our ticket prices from the Reputation tour is, I guess, not really possible. By the way, I'm only talking about the regular ticket prices, which begin at $79, not the VIP packages. I do think that there should have been far fewer VIP packages sold and had those just be regular tickets instead, because it meant that as soon as all the normal tickets were gone, which was quite rapidly as we know, fans then had to decide whether to pay hundreds more dollars for like a tote bag and some stickers. Not even better seats. And unfortunately, if you were wondering, I decided yes, it was worth it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope these controversial opinions weren't too controversial. If you missed the previous videos in this series, they will all be linked below, and please feel free to share more of your unpopular opinions in the comments below. I would also love to hear just like more thoughts on Speak Now Taylor's version now that we've had it for a little bit, because I essentially spent every spare moment I had that first week editing my reaction video, so I still had only heard it all once, and now I finally get to actually like listen to it each day, and I'm just loving it so much more. I am forming more opinions every day with each listen, so I'm very keen to hear your thoughts in the comments below. The next time you see me, I will be on the literal opposite side of this planet, which is so exciting and so weird to think about. But until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye!
Is this what it feels like to grow up?